Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Inside Cornerstone, your weekly look at everything going on at Cornerstone, First Global Methodist Church here in Alexander City, Alabama. I'm Brett Pritchard alongside Pastor Billy Coleman. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you, Brett. Man, what a busy time.
I wasn't on vacation last week. I just had
That's okay.
800 other things
Well,
going on.
we talked about all the busyness. You know, this time of year, the church, it's big time.
It
But
is.
personally, I just put our Christmas tree up. This is like the fastest year. I thought last year was fast. Brett, I'm going to be 90 years old in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's just flying by.
It is.
Gosh.
The time is, it just goes.
It does. And being busy contributes to that.
Man, I tell you, people,
Yeah.
like, I have people all the time ask me, how's retirement? I'm like, are you serious?
Retirement?
What?
What's retirement?
No, I technically left CAC, but I'm busier now than I've ever. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. I've got so many irons in the
I
fire.
know.
So, but that's neither here nor there. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know that. But
Well, I know you're working hard right now on Ascend, and I
yes.
certainly appreciate that. And
you want to talk about that for a little bit?
why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity.
We're off to a good start, I think.
We are off to a good start now.
Yeah.
You know, on paper it may not look like it.
Well,
but, it's. Let me,
Hey, it's a government grant, so just remember that.
Enough said. You know, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Ascend is a youth intervention program that we actually rent a facility from Cornerstone. I'm the director, along with Micah Murphy, who is a co-director with me, and also Jaden Tuck, who is really our career coach. Basically, you know,
In the schools.
Well, he's
Yeah.
the guy that really is boots on the ground, going to be working with the kids. And, you know, the gist of Ascend, and, you know, I'm not on here to try to make a plea for money or anything, because we are funded by a grant, but this is to help youth 16 to 24 that are out of school, not enrolled in, you know, college or whatever, maybe looking at getting, you know, their GED or equivalent, and trying to find a career path, trying to find a job.
Brett, I cannot imagine anybody who knows the system that we have now and how important it is for these young people to be able to get involved in a career. And now here's a program that's going to facilitate, give them opportunities to do that. I just can't imagine anybody not loving that.
Well,
It's
me neither.
exciting.
That's
I
why
mean,
I'm doing
my
it. I mean, you know,
gosh.
and again, you know, this has been a long time in the making, and it has been. I mean, it's been a long, grueling path just to get to where we are. And, you know, we have standards that we're held to by the state and federal government. But let me go back and say that we're appreciative of where we are now, and the facility that we haven't moved into yet. We're working on it still. But all the people that have contributed to help get the Harris House into a position to where we'll be able to move our offices in there and have 2 to 3 classrooms when everything's finished.
I got a group from Sylacauga coming Friday.
Great.
You know, can hopefully put the final touches on a couple of those rooms. And sorry, don't let me interrupt
No,
your train
you
of
go
thought,
ahead.
but tell me if I'm wrong. If you've learned anything these last few weeks, I think you've learned how much it's needed. People just going crazy when they hear about it.
Well, you know, the thing is that when you really get out in the community, you find out, and it's just not our community, it's every community, that there's a massive need for people to find a direction in their life. And, you know, we do not push Christianity down their throat, but here's the deal. You know, having this facility, renting this facility from Cornerstone, being able, once this thing is up and rolling in that facility, we'll be able to have them exposed. And if they ask questions, then we can talk to them about it. And, you know, all while they're trying to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their life and get on some type of productive path that's going to lead them to success and be a contributing member to society, where that be to learn how to, you know, go to a job interview, soft skills, you know, little things that companies talk about all the time that they feel like most people in society are deficient in now. Communication skills, things like that.
This is life-changing for these young people. I mean,
well, that's what we're hoping it's going to be.
Yes.
And again, we know there's a significant segment of the population out there that needs this. So we're going to continue to push. We've got our first students enrolled now, which is a blessing. You know, just when you finally get over the hump and you identify, and it's a slow grow process. There's a lot of need out there, but you got to find them.
You got to qualify.
And then you got to qualify through the you know, the qualifications that are set by the state and the federal government. So, but long story short, I've got a beautiful facility, the Harris House, that.
Well, it's not in good shape, and people have worked their tails off.
It was not in good shape. It's in great shape now. I mean, let's go look at it.
Right.
And, you know, for the church, it's a blessing for the church because the renovations and the things that have been done, you know, the church will ultimately, when Ascend, I hope Ascend lasts 25, I hope it lasts 50 years. I hope it's ongoing. But if it were to phase out, the church now has a facility. It forced the church to go in there and do some work. Right. And the church had a couple of options, really, seriously. They either renovate the place and have a function for that building or to tear it down.
That's right.
You know, that's really where we were with it. And so we said, look, you know, Ascend cannot pay the church for renovations on a physical structure because the grant does not allow it.
Yeah.
But, you know, the bottom line is when we decided and knew that Ascend needed a home, Cornerstone was willing to say, look, we'll make it work. We'll figure out how to do the renovations and, you know, and we'll make this thing work. And again, I think having the connection of people maybe that have not had Christ in their life or have been exposed to that, maybe we'll have the opportunity to be exposed to that, all while we're trying to help them find their way, you know, as far as being a career or in a career and be a productive member of society.
I think it's as clear of an example of what Jesus tells us to do as any you'll ever find. Jesus says, reach out and help those that need help and help them any way that you can. And I think this is life-changing. And I really do appreciate all the hard work y'all are putting in now. And I think, you know, our biggest challenge is the grant itself. With all the changes going on right now, you know, grants are getting cut, and we're getting rid of a lot of dead weight that we needed to get rid of. But I think that filters on down to those who have applied and gotten grants, and they're having to work around some challenges. But we're doing it, and I appreciate y'all.
We are.
Thank you.
We appreciate you and you know, the board that we have. That, you know, we had our first board meeting a few weeks ago, and it was just basically an introductory meeting to kind of let them. And we're going to do it quarterly, and you know, hopefully we have great things to share at the next one. But
Tallapoosa and Coosa counties.
Correct.
Right.
Tallapoosa and a little bit of Elmore. I mean, they've given us permission to, you know, if kids live within X number of, you know, miles from the border.
And those people are begging us to do
They are in Tallahassee, Alabama. You know, Tallahassee split Tallapoosa and Elmore County, so we're operating down there, and, you know, been in contact.
Good people there in Tallahassee.
No doubt. But again, the motive is to, and let me say this, from going to a lot of different facilities now, meeting with kids, man, they're wanting somebody to confide in. They're wanting somebody that believes in them, and to give them an opportunity. They're, you know, a lot of these kids that we're talking to have already made the first step, and they are enrolled in maybe a GED program or some type of program where, and it's like I told them, I said, you've made the first step on your own. You've shown everybody that you want to make something of yourself.
Exactly.
You want to better your situation.
Right.
So that's to me.
We're going to help you.
Well, it absolutely does. And so, you know, you better yourself that way. And now we come in and we help kind of guide you on the path.
Exactly.
You know, and we're going to hold your hand, and we literally are. We're going to hold your hand and help you get enrolled in college, or help you go to the military, or help you go find a job, or all of the above, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do. That's what we do at Ascend. So excited about it.
I am
about
too.
what we got going on. And, man, when you meet, and
you're going to hear a lot about it in the days ahead.
You know, hopefully we'll have some of these kids come up here and be on this show.
That would be great, yeah.
What a great experience and what a great deal it was to be part of Ascend.
Amen.
So, all right, we're up against our first break. Stay tuned. A lot more to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com, today.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Cornerstone. Again, want to thank our sponsors. Want to thank all of you that join us each and every week.
Definitely.
And, we want to expose everybody to what we do at our church, and it's very important to all of us. And like you said, Coach, we have a bunch going on, and, wanted to share with everybody, because there are rumblings around the church. What's going on over at the house? What's going on at the Ayers house? And, and why are we doing all of this? And
Yeah, right.
So, but on the church side of things, when a sin's not there, it's going to be used for Sunday school classes because
True.
and it's
Good
needed.
point.
And listen, I mean,
It's needed.
This ties in, like, God has a plan, obviously, for everything, and that facility is going to be put to really good use for the church because we've run out of room again for Sunday school classes, small groups.
Right,
and,
right.
We're growing, our group's growing, and then you got two groups on the same hall with us. And, now Jacob's Ladder's needing those.
It's growing.
It's growing, and they need the space. And, they're all over the place. They're in the arbor, and they're
I can
upstairs.
testify to that.
Yeah, you see it daily. But all of this, again, you couldn't build that facility right now. I mean, for the expense.
No, absolutely.
And so you go in.
We've got the big house we got to deal with.
That's right. But so we've got a lot of facilities on site, and this was a need, and I think it was an answered prayer all the way around.
It was.
A sin needed a place to go, and the church needed to increase its capacity of what it can do physically. So so it all worked out, and so Sunday school classes, all our hours that I'm in, will move over. I think we've been in every room now in the church since the inception of our Sunday school class. We're the class that it doesn't matter. Everybody comes to and say, "Hey,
Now y'all are called the nomads. Is that,
hey, whatever." We're just called go to the next room class. There's the upper room, and then we go to the next room.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
But we move around, but we're fine with that. I mean, we grow.
I appreciate that.
Well, and we're fine. Again, like when I ask our class, I'm like, "Hey, I'm kind of asking, but I'm kind of telling that we're going over to the Ayers house." But everybody's fine with it, And again, they're like, "Well, we'll have
But
our
they're
own."
going to like it.
And I told them, I said, give it 6 months, and they'll run us out of here. I said, we'll be at the Ayers house, and then everybody will find out how great a facility it is, and they'll ask us to move again.
You may go to one of the other rooms in the Ayers house.
If you see an Easy Up tent in the front of the church between 10 and 11, that's our Sunday school class. Just grab a chair, and you can come.
Y'all
join
are
us.
going to enjoy that.
I think so.
We're
yeah.
hooking you a TV up, I don't know, Thursday, Friday
Right.
before Sunday.
Right, and we're going to try to get our Wi-Fi and all that hooked up here maybe today or tomorrow.
Great.
That's on my back against let me check my my list and say Kim's on me about that and staying on top of it. And so she reminded me yesterday. She said, by the way, you need to do this. But yeah, there are a lot of punch list things that we're going through right now.
There's still a lot to do.
Yeah, but it's a work in progress, and I love progress. And if you got construction stuff going on, means you're moving in the right direction.
Amen. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's it in a summation, really, of what we're doing and what's going on with the Harris House. And hey,
let's talk about the cantata.
I want to ask. I want to go one other place first before we go to the cantata.
Oh, sure.
Had a go day this past weekend.
Oh my.
So let's talk about. People don't know what a go day is for us at church. This has been going on at our church for years, and basically, you have an opportunity for the church to come together on a given Saturday or whenever normally it's a Saturday, and you break up and go in different places, and usually it's around the community, and different teams of people from the church go, and maybe they go paint somewhere, maybe they go clean up somebody's house, or maybe that, just something. It's an outreach ministry. Well, this go day was everybody come to the church and let's spruce our own place up, our own back door. So I think we had a good number of people.
It was a fantastic day. Somebody had told me, I said, well, we ready for go day? She said, well, I hope so. I hope we have more than one or two show up because it's a work day. You can call it go day if you want to, but it's going to be shoveling and spraying fire ants. And by the way, they're trying to take over the world,
They've
fire
been
ants
trying to
are.
do that. Yeah, no kidding.
But, I got there.
What are they good for?
I'm going to ask. That's my first question to the Lord.
It's fire ants.
I think so.
What happened with that? Yeah, why are they on?
I'm sure he has a reason. I just don't know what it is.
Yes, I hadn't found it either.
But when I got up there, man, and I got there before we started at 8. I got there at 7:30, and there were already 10 or 15 people, and there was 35 people there working, mid-morning on up to 11 or 12 o'clock, and got a lot of stuff done. We've got some neat things coming. I mean, what are we doing? Hiding 12,000 eggs or something? I've never heard of so many eggs. I walked out there last year, Brett, and all the eggs were on top of the ground.
Can I say
you couldn't even see the grass.
Well, can I say this? If you couldn't have found one of those eggs, you got problems.
Yeah, you'd be taken back.
There was no grass to walk on. You had to step on the eggs.
Yeah, it was crazy, but the kids are loving it.
Oh yeah,
and they're finding them right on top of the ground, man. They're putting
fast
them
as you can grab them and put them in your basket. But look, we wanted that to be ready because we know that's coming up, and but
we got some neat services coming up, and we're going to try to have a Easter morning sunrise service up across from the arbor. We've got a little place up there.
Right.
I don't know. You would know last time it was used. I don't know but it's a pretty little place. It's got seats up there.
It does. It's an amphitheater.
If the weather works, it'll
Which
be
is a crapshoot at this time of year.
But you got the arbor right down at the bottom of a little walkway, so you can have it there. But I think that we're going to do our best to, spray for mosquitoes and kill the fire ants and the bumblebees. But I think it's going to be great, and that's going to be probably a 6 o'clock in the morning sunrise service, and of course we're going to eat afterwards. And then we're going to eat before the Easter service at 9.
And then everybody's going to leave church and go eat again.
Probably,
That's what we do on Easter Sunday, I think. It's just eat till it comes out our ears.
Yeah, Friday night before Easter, we'll celebrate, the Last Supper. But Easter Day is going to be the continuous lunch, breakfast, lunch, supper, all day long.
There is no Last Supper with Cornerstone. It's called the next supper.
And we had a great crowd Sunday. I mean, it was packed. And I think we'll have great crowds there. It's not about the numbers; it's about Christ is risen. But I do think it's going to be a lot of celebrations in Holy Week. I don't know if we need to get into that, but we'll have services all through Holy Week at 12 noon and 6. And I'm not, a lot of them will be people from our church that are going to be sharing devotional thoughts, and then we'll have Thursday night communion service, of course, and then, kind of turn the sanctuary black on Friday night. So there'll be a lot of things that we're doing. And our services now are related to things that happen leading up to Easter,
right
before Christ comes. Yeah, Palm Sunday is a week from Sunday.
I was going to say,
I mean, God.
We've I remember, obviously it was a few weeks ago, but it just feels like yesterday that, we were talking about the Lent season and moving into Easter and, the journey and getting here. And, we're here. We're already in April.
I can't remember ever experiencing an Easter season like it. We talk about things happening leading up to the crucifixion at Sylacauga on Wednesday.
Right.
At Wednesday night, we're going to have the Bible study. I lead at the church. We're going to do the same thing. Legacy Builders at 6 in the morning and 12 noon on Tuesdays. We're talking about basically the same thing. And it just feels like there's a good spirit in the air. I think everybody's looking forward to it. And I think it's just think of the number of people. Now, I know the next Sunday, we know what happens usually Sunday, but think of the people that are going to be sitting in church on Easter Sunday and the opportunities that we have to share the story that changes everything. And hopefully a lot of those people will come the next Sunday.
Well, I think you and I have talked about this a few times already in the last month. That we kind of laugh tongue in cheek about it, and everybody puts on their Sunday best, and that's kind of always been the tradition for Easter. And and then the next Sunday you look around and you ask where everybody is, and so
and that didn't start last year.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And look,
been there.
we're not talking about anybody in particular. If you feel like we're talking to you, we might be talking about you. So, but seriously, that is it's always been that way, and our goal is to have an environment that is so welcoming that you go, man, I got to come back next week and next week and the next week. And then it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a special Sunday. They're all special.
It becomes a habit.
Yeah. Because we want you to look at it as something that you can't wait to do.
Right.
Is get to church on
Sunday. And you miss something if you didn't go.
And then you feel like it's a massive void in your life when you don't show up. So, all right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Cornerstone. Couple segments left in the show today. Obviously, at the end of the show, like every week, we will have a clip from our service or one of our services, either the Arbor or the Green Street service. So make sure you stay tuned to that. And I'll ask you to kind of recap last Sunday's message and then preview maybe this Sunday's message.
Right now, they all tie together.
Yeah, they're all tying together.
Yeah.
But let's talk about another event we have coming up. It's called our Easter cantata.
Yeah, Calvary's Lamb, I think is the name of it. It's a wonderful Easter cantata that will be at Green Street on Palm Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And the Arbor will have a service. I know it'll be a great service. We got people from the Alabama Symphony Orchestra that will be leading and being a part in that, and they can't they can't move everything from one place to the other. They need that organ that we have at the Green Streets on this, and we can combine anyway. I mean, if we took our two services for Palm Sunday and put them together, we wouldn't have enough room. So what we will do is the Arbor will have the option, they go from 9 to 10, and then if they want to come to 11 o'clock and experience the cantata at Green Street at 11, I certainly think many of them will do that. Don't you think? I think quite a few from the Arbor will do that. I
definitely think there'll be quite a few from them.
And then the Green Street service is going to have a big crowd too, so
absolutely.
It's going to be packed, but those people from the Alabama Symphony Orchestra, they just add so much to it.
They're so talented.
Yeah, and I've heard the choir talk about their practices, and they are so moved by the message of this cantata that they struggle to get through a practice.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a real meaningful thing. And what I want to tell you, I said I had a little story. I guess some of y'all know, maybe not everybody. I go down to Hatchet Creek Baptist Church in Clay County every Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's the only way they could have a service. I was trying to help them out. Well, Cornerstone came along, and we had a little cry down there about I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then I said, well, if you guys will just eat your lunch before you come to church instead of afterwards, if you want to do a 1 o'clock service, I'll be there. And so they did. And so they're going to all come up for the cantata.
Nice.
And I told them, I said, you're going to let me know this Sunday. And I said, well, let me know now. If you still want to have a service at Hatchet Creek, then we can still do the 1 o'clock. Because not all of them may come to.
True.
We don't want to knock somebody out of coming.
How many total people do they have?
When they do something special, they'll have good crowds. But on a given Sunday, a dozen.
Wow.
But you got to admire them.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the reason I enjoy going there so much, is because they are so committed. And first off, it's a beautiful church.
Oh, I can imagine.
That church is beautiful.
That's almost like
our own mayor and McConnell made crosses that are hanging at the front and back of that church. And so they've come to a lot of things that we have. I mean, they love Cornerstone too. And the funny thing about that, Brett, is the leadership of the Baptist Association in Clay County. They laugh with me, and I say, you guys ever had a Methodist pastor as one of your Baptist pastors too? And they just laugh it off. They're good sports. They don't give a hoot about denominations. It's all about Christ, and that makes me want to go there.
Oh yeah.
And sir, and those people are as fine a people as you'll ever want to meet, and they don't get discouraged. They're not discouraged. I mean, if they have 8 or 10 people there, we have a church service.
There's a lot of small churches.
That is the grassroots of the church.
I was going to say,
no doubt.
There's a lot of small churches scattered out all over the South, and not just in Alabama.
Oh, yes.
And, again, I'm not saying one way or the other, but, church populations age out. And,
yeah, sure.
And, again, people gravitate to certain areas. And, and that's just part of life. But it's good to see that, again, it doesn't matter if there's 12 or if there's 1,200. If you're gathering to worship the Lord, it doesn't matter.
It does.
You're going to do that for yourself and,
we
and your
love it.
relationship.
I
So,
mean, everybody just says, "Oh my gosh, you got 3 services. I bet you're dead." Well, I might be dead at 4 in the afternoon, but I'm alive at 1. I mean, I enjoy going down there, and I have a book, Horse and Buggy Days in Hatchet Creek.
okay.
And the guy wrote it way back in the 1800s,
Right.
early 1900s. Our farm is in it. And Hatchet Creek Baptist Church was one of the leading churches in the community at that
course.
time.
Right.
It was a thriving church. You know, when you pull up, you see the concrete block tables down there where they would have their dinner on the
How about
grounds.
that?
And they've got a quilt from the late 1800s signed by all the people in the community, including the people that lived at our farm. Our farmhouse has a section of it that was built in 1890.
Wow.
And I love the country anyway.
Well, I mean, if you've never, that's where I was going next. If you've never been to a country church,
Right.
an old country church,
Yeah.
man, and experienced that, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of life changing in a lot of ways, because I know we try to get, and again, technology and there's a lot of things that enhance our experience, you know, with services now.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you just got to get down to the old grassroots of things and, you know, show up and sit on one of those pews and understand what it was like back in the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the importance of what it means to
Yeah.
have a church in a community like that that everybody gravitated to.
Hey, get this. They invited our choir to come
Wow.
and do a program at their homecoming. And when they have their homecoming, I mean, they'll have 50, 60 people there.
Sure.
But the choir came and sang. Well, it wasn't but 3 or 4 weeks later, they invited the choir to come down, and they had a covered dish at the church for the choir to show them how much they appreciated
Them
the
doing
choir.
that.
And the choir loved it.
Of course
The
they
church
did.
has got great acoustics. The people just, they still talk about it. The choir coming and how much they love that. And it's been a blessing. And some of them will be there Sunday, and I look forward to it. They've become good friends of mine. If
That's
anybody
awesome.
wants to do your services at 4, holler at me. We'll see what we can do.
You're available, right? Available,
Yeah, maybe.
available.
We'll see.
Pastor on demand is what
I
it is.
may come in on a
it's-
walker by 4, but that's okay.
Well, and again, I'm glad you shared that, because, you know, that's important.
They're going to worship Easter too, right?
Absolutely.
Just like everybody
Doesn't
else.
matter.
That's right.
You don't have to be in a mega church.
No.
You know,
no.
to get, you know, the experience. The
Right.
experience is what you make it, and
Absolutely.
in your relationship. But you know, we all love music, and you know, we talk about it at Christmas time and all the different programs that we have, and then we love it when our youth and our children get up and sing. But man, when you bring in professionals from the Alabama Symphony Orchestra
They're
during
good.
Christmas and Easter, man, it just adds even more to your experience. So
We'll have a ton of visitors. I say there'll be a lot of visitors that come to that Easter cantata, because it's with the Alabama Symphony, and there's more players than we've ever had
right.
that will be part of that from that orchestra. But it's going to be great.
It is going to be great. It's going to be
Everything's
great.
great at Easter.
So, Coach, let's preview
yeah.
what's coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, let's talk about the 9 and 11 o'clock
Let's
services,
do it.
right?
Let's do it.
Well, we've been talking about the signs. John doesn't have miracles. In the Gospel of John, his signs, there's 7 of them. And I think what we've been doing is, like last week, we did the feeding of the 5,000 in the arbor. That's one of the 7. And then from there, we went to Green Street and we did Jesus walking on the water. That's one of the 7. This week we'll be talking about the last 2. Now we've got a guest speaker at the arbor, so I'll probably take those last 2 and incorporate them in to the Palm Sunday service at the arbor, and I'll probably do one at Green Street so we can do all 7 of them. But let's see, the last 2 is the man born blind. And we'll be doing that this Sunday at the Arbor. And then the last one, of course, how can you not have the raising of Lazarus?
Wow.
I mean, that's going to be one. And that's the seventh one that John has. It's been fascinating. All the Bible studies, like I said, we do the stuff in between those signs. And man, John is just, it's such a great gospel anyway. Now, so what we're doing the Arbor from this past Sunday, right? So we'll be doing the feeding of the 5,000, which was not 5,000.
Yeah,
it was 5,000 men.
Yeah, it was 5,000.
It was about 12,000 with women and kids.
Right. Man, just awesome stuff. So many great stories.
Oh, yeah.
Leading up to, Easter and just a great time to be in church and enjoyed the series and looking forward to the finish.
It brings everything. It kind of brings everything together.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take another break. It'll be our final break on the show. Everybody stay where you are. We got a clip coming up from last week. We don't want you to miss it. Stay tuned. More to come here on Inside Cornerstone right after this.
God bless you.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Today, though, we're talking about the fifth sign, Jesus walks on the water. As I said, both signs that we talk about today appear in the same chapter. They're in the 6th chapter of John, and they're literally one right after the other one. John's interesting that way. In the 9th chapter of John, he talks about the miracle of the blind man that could see, and that takes up an entire chapter. What we're basically doing these few weeks leading in to Easter is talk about the story of Jesus in the Gospel of John, and we're pretty much covering it all. First thing I'd like to do, though, is try to explain a really, really big picture that maybe you haven't thought about, but because of all of this, I certainly have thought about it a lot. You know, there's some ways that we are so different from this culture we're talking about. For one thing, this culture had a tremendous amount of sickness in it, leprosy, blindness. People couldn't walk. They'd lay around beside pools waiting for people to take them in the so-called magical water. They had that. I mean, we've got that element some today, but nothing like they did. It was a huge problem for them. So when they saw a guy walking around, and they were Jewish people that knew the story of the Messiah, had heard of the Messiah, They were able to see with their own eyes people that were healed and the difference that made in their life. Another thing I want to throw out there right quick before we get into the actual signs that we want to talk about is they knew what hungry was. We don't. Do we really? I'm starving. Can we go here down one block and let me get a bunch of food and then I won't be starving anymore? I mean, I told the story. I don't know if it's worth telling today. They laugh. Maybe you will too. You always laugh, right? So we went to a bowl game down in Tampa, Florida. Do you hear me? Tampa, Florida. And could not find a restaurant that served seafood. Tampa, Florida. All right? I couldn't believe it. So I pulled up to a little motel on the road. I said, ma'am, can you tell me where's a restaurant around here that we might could get some seafood? I mean, I really can't think of one around here. This is Tampa, Florida, right? Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Drive down this 4-lane right here. It's going to take you about 45 minutes. What? So I drove down there, and what you're going to do is come to a place called Krabby Bill's. All right? Look for it. So after I missed it 5 times, I found it. It was like an old-fashioned Dairy Queen. You went and ordered your seafood through a little window. And you ordered it, and then you went down. You can go inside. You went down and sat at a picnic table on gravel, not on concrete, on gravel, and you waited for them to call, and you go get it. And Krabby Bill's was a great name for it, no doubt about it. And so when my mother-in-law and my mother got their hush puppies, and they looked halfway brown on the outside, and they peeled them back, and they hadn't even been cooked, just basically raw. That didn't help the situation at all. I was so disgusted that we were in a van. Shireen's dad had a terrible accident and was pretty much crippled in many ways. And he could get around, had a lot of good willpower and stuff. And I was so disgusted as he was getting in the door behind me, I drove off with his leg hanging out the door. Not a good move for your father-in-law. And as we drove back, we talked about how we were all starving to death. We weren't starving to death. Now, the people in this time, they knew what hunger was. So let's make sure we get the picture right. When you go look at the feeding of the 5,000, this is the truth. This is how this happens, all right? These people have seen Jesus. It talks about it early in the chapter 6. Have seen Jesus heal people. And they're so intrigued with that a huge crowd comes upon them. Jesus sees the crowd coming. I think he knows what they want. He gets off and goes up kind of on a mountain. You got it? So he's up on this mountain with his disciples, and there they look in this monstrous crowd that's coming because they've seen these miracles. Here they come. They're not hungry. They didn't come for what would be a loaf and a piece of fish, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. They came because they saw Jesus healing people, and that was a trait of the Messiah. It was a sign, and they wanted to be. They were hungry. They just weren't hungry for fish and bread. They were hungry for Christ. They were hungry, and they came to hear Jesus, to see what he had to do. And Jesus kind of played a game with the disciples. He said, well, first thing he did is he looked over at one of the disciples who was from the area. Philip was actually born there in that area, and said, well, we're going to get the food to feed all these people coming. I mean, there was not a Krabby Bill's close by. And so he says, Lord, it would take a year's salary to put one bite in their mouth. Of course, Jesus, the Bible clearly says Jesus already knew what he was going to do. He just said that to just kind of test Philip a little bit. And then the other disciple that's involved in this miracle, Andrew, comes and says, well, I mean, we got this little boy here, and he's got 5 barley loaves. Those were the smallest and the lowest economically that you could have, in a couple of fish. He didn't say how big they were. They probably weren't that big. But you got to give Andrew a little credit. Remember him? That's the brother of Peter. When he heard Jesus, he didn't try to talk Peter into what Jesus was saying. He took Peter to Jesus, because he knew if he did that would. So Andrew's like one of my favorite guys. So it's kind of like him to say, well, we've got these 5 little loaves and a couple of fish. Don't you think deep down inside he thought, Jesus can take care of this? And then the rest we know. Everybody ate until full. Remember, they came because they wanted to experience Christ, not necessarily because they were hungry. Oh, by the way, it wasn't 5,000. It was 5,000 men. It didn't even count the ladies and the kids. There were 10,000 to 12,000 people that were there when Jesus took those baskets. The disciples passed it out, and I said this morning over at the Arbor, wouldn't you love to have seen their eyes when they're passing all this food out, and they look down there, it's still full. You know, they just keep passing it out. Not only is it still full, but there were 12 basketfuls full left over after they finished, which is another sermon. That is, the bread of life never runs out. All the other bread in this world might run out, but the bread of life, Jesus says 7 times in the 6th chapter of John that he is the bread of life. Do you really think those people came because they wanted a little piece of fish and a piece of bread? They came because they were hungry and searching for Christ, and they found him. And when they found him, they ate until full, with 12 basketfuls left over, one for each disciple for the rest of their ministry. Now, you got it. I ain't gotten to the one we're going to talk about, but that's a little background, okay? Notice real carefully, before we start on the miracle of walking on the water, listen to this. They were saying, this is the prophet who's come into the world. Listen. Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew to a mountain by himself. These people were going to try to make Jesus king. You can understand why. They had government problems unbelievable. They couldn't afford food because the Roman government taxed them so much. And now they're talking about Jesus as being king, and that's not why Jesus came. When he saw that coming, he went off up into a mountain. He got away from them. It was under those conditions that he told the disciples. I think he was worried about them too. Oh my goodness, I don't want them talking to the 12 disciples, you know. He said, get in this boat and go to the other side. Go now, get away, here they come. Stuff like that. Because he didn't want them to buy in to the fact that he was there to be a king. He already had one of the disciples, Judas, who thought that he was going to overthrow the Romans. You know, we're going to be to Palm Sunday in a couple of weeks, right? And all those people are cheering and putting their palm branches down as Jesus walks in. Do we really think that all of that was for reasons other than the fact he could overthrow the Romans? They thought, here comes Jesus. He's going to take care of all this. He's going to overcome Rome, the whole bit. If they didn't think that, then why did they all disappear when what they thought was going to happen didn't happen and Jesus was arrested? Well, they all went home. So this is what happened behind the scenes to lead us to Jesus walking on the water. So he puts the disciples in the boat and tells, and just they go off, and not long after they do, a storm comes up. The wind starts to blow, the waves are terrible, and Jesus isn't there. Now, There's another story. Oh, let me tell you this one. This is interesting. This feeding of the 5,000 is in all the Gospels. It's the only miracle other than the resurrection that is in all those Gospels. And when you get into the one today, walking on the water, there's some differences. For example, John doesn't mention Peter. This is the same storm that Matthew says Peter walks on the water. Not many steps. He starts sinking. But he actually says, can I come with you? Jesus says, come on. He takes a few steps and he starts to sink. I find it interesting that John doesn't even include that. That's not in John's story of this. Is that interesting? John was concerned with Jesus the Messiah and who he was, and nothing personally against Peter. This is the guy that said, I outran Peter to the tomb. I got there first. I mean, I'm sure all those disciples loved each other, but they also argued all the time. They were arguing in the upper room about who was the greatest. So let's don't think for a second that they didn't have some of the human traits. They didn't always get along with each other. For whatever the reason, John doesn't put Peter's story in there. He's more interested in Jesus walking on the water than Peter trying to get out there. Another thing I want to mention that's very interesting is there's another time that Jesus goes out into a storm, right? He goes out into the storm, and all of a sudden, the storm comes up. But what's the difference? In that one, Jesus is in the boat. Remember? Remember the one that Jesus is in the boat and he goes to sleep? And the storm comes up and they're going crazy. And they run over there and say, Lord, wake up, please. And Jesus wakes up and the waves calm and the rain kind of storms goes away. And then they look at him and say, he even controls the winds and the rain. That one? Well, that's not this one. The Gospel of Mark says that Jesus made them get in this boat and go out without him, which makes sense from what we're saying because he saw the crowd coming and he said, go out. But the whole point of this story is Jesus is not in the boat. He's not in the boat. We need to talk about that. And this will be the latter part of the message, so don't worry. I'm not going to make up the time that we gained from the children's minute. But this is pretty interesting. So they go out into the storm. Now, Jesus is sitting up on the mountain praying. Remember the other time he was asleep and they woke up. Now he's not there. And he's not there for a long time. It's not that he wasn't there for 15 minutes. He wasn't there for 9 hours. He goes up into the mountain and prays, and actually it gives how much time he was up there. It was for 9 hours when these guys were fighting that storm. And in their mind, they had to believe that Jesus wasn't going to be with them in this, which is a super important question that we need to talk about. One of the things that we've heard a lot of times in our life is Jesus is always going to be there for you. God won't put more on you than you can bear. I mean, we all believe that. I believe it. I'm sure you believe it too. But sometimes it seems like he's not around. Why is that? Why would Jesus sit up on that mountain and let those guys fight and think they were going to die for 9 hours in that storm? Why would he do that? Why would God send his son right after he's baptized out into the wilderness and tells him not to eat for 40 days and 40 nights? And the Satan comes and tempts him. You remember? I did that message a couple of weeks ago. Was there any mention of God being there? Jesus refuted Satan with the Scripture and used the Scripture, and that was his power there. But, I mean, God wasn't standing over in the corner somewhere telling him, saying, all right, Satan, no, you can't go any further than that. I mean, just think about it for a second. How about this scripture in Isaiah 45:15? Truly, you are God who has been hiding himself. That's Isaiah now. That's not a former coach saying that. That's Isaiah saying, you hide yourself. Why do you hide yourself? How about this one? David, who had a heart for God, right? God's own heart. You know, David, he says in Psalms, do not be far from me, my God. Why have you forsaken me? That's what David said. Well, of course, the first thing when I say that, what do we all think? That's what Jesus said. I mean, Jesus said that on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? Now, let's go back to the original question. Why would God sometimes not appear, kind of be hiding, checking everything out? I think he's testing us. Sometimes the best stories are how it feels without somebody you love, before you can understand how great it is to be with somebody you love. You have to go without.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.